Say a prayer for the man who has a farmer's tan.
Again, this is a song I wrote a number of years ago, but never had a chance to really record it on a solo record years and years ago. But the song needed, as I like to say, steroids. It was kind of done acoustically before, but it needed a lot more punch behind it, I thought. But I always really liked the song. It's called Farmer's Tan, and the cool thing about this song is I know there's a lot of, you hear Farmer's Tan this, Farmer's Tan that, and people trying to jump on the farmer's bandwagon. But this song really was written probably 20 years ago, and it was born out of my experience during wheat harvest in eastern Colorado when I was working my way through college. I actually grew up in western Kansas, and so I had a completely agricultural area, and so I'd experienced farming and harvesting firsthand for years and years. But in the summertime, it was fun to harvest the wheat, and it was just really a cool time of year. It was a lot of work and long hours and that sort of thing, but I tried to just capture the essence of what it felt like to be out in the field, either on the combine or driving the truck, and just the notion of that's what would get you into the notion of what it was like to be a farmer. And I just remember it seemed like that time of year the thunderstorms were always building up in the west, and you were literally always fighting with Mother Nature and racing the cloud. I mean, you'd see the lightning, even if you were driving tractor out in the field, you'd see the lightning coming. Thunderstorms always came in from the west, and you'd drive as long as you could. And then when the lightning started getting to where it could potentially be a problem, you'd have to get off the tractor or get off the combine. But in harvest time, of course, there's a sense of tension for sure, because you need to get that. You don't know if it's a hailstorm. If it's a hailstorm coming, you could get your crop wiped out. So you cut as much of it as you can and hope for the best. And that's pretty much the life of the farmer. They're kind of at the mercy of Mother Nature. But one of the few things, I wouldn't say one of the few things, but one of the things that this country really has gotten right over the course of time is farming. And we have the greatest farmers on the face of the earth. And so this song is just a tribute to them. Say a prayer for the man who has a farmer's tan. And there's a lot of stuff about this song, a lot of lines in the song that I really liked. It's one of my favorite songs that I've ever written. It means a lot to me. But you get into the harvest, big machine, cutting wheat, smell the dust, feel the heat. This is kind of a tough song to write because it's all tiny little lines. Big machine, cutting wheat, smell the dust, feel the heat. Pressure's on, race the cloud. Wind is strong, engines loud. The wind coming out of the west would be strong, and the engines of those machines were always loud. You get to the chorus, gather round, fill your plate just before you partake. Say a prayer for the man who has a farmer's tan. And I always thought the word partake was the perfect word for that, because it has spiritual implications. When they talk about communion and stuff, you partake in communion, but partake just before you do that, you say a prayer for the man who has a farmer's tan. And then getting into the second verse, just more description: pick up trucks, little towns, grow it up, cut it down. Work the fields, pray for rain, sow the seed, reap the grain. I really like all of those lines. But I think, the kicker in the song was the line that follows that, where you say, you're talking about a farmer's tan, so when you write a song, you're trying to stay focused upon, you got to provide details, but you're trying to stay focused on the title. And when you say, no 40-hour weeks, he doesn't have a pension plan, put on a suit and tie, and you can't get a farmer's tan. That was the line that finished the song for me, because yes, if you're wearing a suit and tie and punching the clock, you will not be able to get a farmer's tan. And there's no such thing as a 40-hour week. You start working the fields as soon as they're dry enough to work in the mornings, and more often than not, the only thing that stops you and sends you home is daylight's gone. So you wait till the next day. And so I've always really liked this song, and we play it live, and it feels really good whenever we play it. We got a really good fiddle part that goes with the song. Jeff plays the fiddle on the song, and I really like the part that he plays. And so that's Farmer's Tan, and you can of course download that on iTunes or whatever CD Baby. You can go to our website, HighRollersBand.com, and check out the music page. You can listen to it there if you like it and you want to download it, or buy the CD. Have at it, HighRollersBand.com. Don't forget to go to our Facebook page and like us on Facebook, and you can keep track of all this amongst other things. And
Cut
that's
wheat.
Farmer's Tan. Next week we'll do another.
Smell the dust, feel the heat. Pressure's on, race the cloud. Wind is strong, engine's loud. Well, he fights with Mother Nature and he does the best he can.